Good morning, everybody. We are in September of 2022, and I wanted to bring you along this morning. We are going to be making some pesto. I have already cut down these two basil plants that I have under my apiarium. They have been wonderful ground cover for the apiarium over the summer. And now we are going to come over here. I want to show you the craziness over here. Oh my gosh, I just walked through a web. There's webs everywhere around here. Look at this. Look at this craziness. All of my basil's starting to go to flower, and that's just in the last couple of days. So I'm going to have to trim all of this off and then trim it all down. But look at this jungle. I've got my tomatoes in here. So this one right here, look at that baby. I got him hiding in here. We're supposed to be up to 108 today. We're supposed to have another heat advisory today. Look at all the beautiful flowers coming out on my Barbados cherry tree. Look at that. They're all over in here. I had a cardinal in here this morning trying to see if he could find some cherries. But here's my tomatillos. There's another one down there. You can see it coming up pretty good. I've got some tomato plants in here and I can't even see them right now because there is so much growth in here. Oh look. See? Here's one of my tomatillos right here. I gotta get these staked up. So I'm gonna start working on this and we'll see what it looks like when I'm done. Now that we have trimmed off all the basil, you can see the tomatillos there, and then there's another one right there. And I had 3 tomato plants in here, but I've got that one, and then this one, and this one. Let's see, what is this one? This is the Super Sweet 100. I'm gonna keep the cloth on it until we get into the 90s. This is that striped I told you I got free from Baker Creek. And I'm not sure what that little one is down there, over there. We'll have to check that out later. I have to do some more staking on this guy right here. Kind of build him up around the trellis. And this one too. I'll take him and put his different ends on different sides of the trellis here. It's actually kind of windy today. So, as you can see, there was a lot of basil back here. And you can tell, if you look in there, you can see the stems, how big the stems are. This plant just goes and goes and goes here in Arizona until we get a frost and it kills them off. Otherwise, you have an endless supply of basil. So that was all of those plants. I showed you the ones over under the apiarium over there. And oh, look at this, you guys. My Roselle hibiscus is starting to set some flowers. I'm so excited. I'll have to show you when some of them open up. I mean, they're everywhere on this plant. But look at how crazy it is. I'm going to have to do some research to see how I can stake this better, because look at the stem on this thing. It's the first time I've grown it. And look at all the branches and the stem. I mean, and I've just got it in this pot. So obviously I'm going to have to put it in something bigger next year and do a better job of staking. Because I think when I get the root out of this thing, I think it's going to be huge. And this is the other one. And I have that in a taller pot. But look at how they just droop. They're just incredible. They are going to be so beautiful. And when the weather starts cooling off, they go a little bit crazy. So I think they're really going to do well in the 80 to 90 degrees. And then I had our crazy bees right here. They're not There's a couple out of here, but they're busy. They're working right now. And then I had this one here. Hopefully my tomato doesn't get too much of a shock because it was being covered by these two basil plants. It was getting shaded out by them. So it's supposed to be really hot today. I hope it doesn't end up burning. And then I'm still leaving this one here because the bees just love being in here. I don't know if you can see any of them. There's a few bees in here right now. But I have another tomato plant back here, and it's kind of being shaded by that one. I think this is the brandywine. I put brandywines in pots to see how they do. So I'm going to take you inside and show you what we have going on in there. Here we are inside, and as you can see, I have a sink full of basil here. These are the stems that I've trimmed off and the flowers. And then here's a whole nother, I don't know if you can even see it. There's a bowl under there. This bowl is just loaded with more. So then I'm going to wash all of these and destem them right here. And then what's left is all of the leaves. And then I'm going to take these leaves and we'll put those. Oops. I just knocked the bowl on the table, so the dogs thought somebody was. No, it's not the door. The dogs thought somebody was at the door. And then I'm just going to leave these to dry a bit. Okay, now we have got our sink cleared out from all of the basil. I do have to tell you that I did lose some of it because I had put it in here to soak, and then I ran some errands, and then I came back and I still had a lot to do, and it's been hours. In that time, the basil bruised. So you can see the color it should be right here and the color it turned. So I have learned that it is very sensitive. And once you start this, you really want to only do what you're going to do in that day. I have a ton of basil, and I planted it more for protection from bugs for my tomatoes. But I do want to make some pesto and some spaghetti sauce. My tomatoes aren't ready yet for sauce, so I should get another cutting off of my basil yet. Again, it grows like crazy, but I do have all of this on the table. As you can see, a little bit of it, some of it here and there is starting to turn, and I'm going to actually blanch it. I'm going to blanch it and then make the pesto sauce out of it. That is supposed to keep it from browning and help it to keep that dark brown flavor. I mean that light, bright green color. And I do have some in here that's the opal basil. So when you see ones like this, that's just the purple in the leaf. So some of them are, you know, this is the browning, and then I got some that are purple in the leaf, so it's really messing with my eyes. But I am going to get all of this blanched, get it in some ice water, and then start making the pesto. I should have a fair amount. I need to measure this out and see exactly how much I have when I am blanching it. Now we are blanching our basil. I left it in the pot for, it's getting all steamy, sorry, a minute. And now I'm pulling it out, straining it as much as I can to hurry and get it into the ice bath over here where it can stop cooking. We'll see if this keeps it from turning anymore. Okay, now we are going to add our pine nuts, our garlic, minced garlic, Parmesan, and I added some Parmigiano Reggiano in there, and I had too much for my blender, so I'm going to separate those into 2 different batches so I don't overfill my blender. And then when I'm done with that, I bought these reusable freezer bags. So I'm going to put my pesto in these freezer bags so I can pat it down and I'll be able to lay it flat in my freezer for storage. And then whenever I need pesto, I'll be able to grab a bag and, or either even take a piece out of it, depending on how much I put in each bag. So we came out with 1 jar that I'm going to put in the refrigerator, and then 2 bags of the resealable bags that I put the basil pesto on. I should put 2022 on there, just so I know what year we did that, in case it doesn't get used up right away. And a few things that I learned. I learned today that only pick what I need, then clean it from the stems completely, then wash it, then dry it. And I'm still on the, I'm not sure about the blanching, because with the blanching, it's kind of like spinach, and I only had it in the water for a minute and it like got very soft. So I think that's another reason why it looks pasty. So next time I'm going to also try the food processor instead of the Vitamix, and I am going to just do the leaves dry instead of blanching them in the water and then the ice bath, and then you have to dry it, and it's just, the leaves are so soft by then because of everything it's gone through, but the color is beautiful. So I'm okay with it being pasty, but that's not how you usually see your pesto. So that is how I did my basil pesto, and I just went online and looked up different recipes, and then I just eyeballed the ingredients and went by taste to see what texture I wanted for my basil pesto. I used pine nuts. You don't have to use pine nuts, you can use walnuts. The pine nuts are more expensive than walnuts are. And then, of course, you want to use the freshest olive oil as possible, so you have a nice fresh taste and not a old oil type of taste. I did the Parmesan Reggiano mixture instead of just Parmesan. And it said salt and pepper to taste, but I didn't put any salt and pepper in there. And then, of course, your basil. And I use 3 different types of basil also. I have lemon basil, the Thai basil, the sweet basil. Oh, I have 4, because I also have the opal basil, which was the purple basil. So I do have 4 different types of basil in there. Some are more robust, some are, softer scented and tasting. So it turned out really well. I'm really happy with the results. But so you can see about what you're going to get with what I had was 16 cups of basil. So it breaks down quite a bit. Have a great week, you guys. Here's an end product of what one of the things I did with my basil pesto that I made. I made some basil pesto pizza. I got fresh ground mozzarella, green, red, and yellow bell peppers that I had frozen in the freezer. I took 1 onion and caramelized it. and put that on there. I forgot mushrooms. Those would have been good on there also. And I got an organic pre-made pie crust. Put the basil pesto on the bottom, layered everything else on top, and it was absolutely delicious. So here's one idea of what you can do with the basil pesto that you use. Like, I blanched the basil pesto so it came out looking like baby food, but it's great when you're using it to smear onto pizza crust. So I'll definitely be doing that again.